Good morning. This is Gary Sly in the Legacy of Handmade Objects. We're in the busy office of the Leesburg Center for the Arts this morning, and I'm here with the Associate Director of the Center, Claire Simpson, correct? Okay. Couple things. I want to introduce you to Claire. She's a great resource for the arts here in Leesburg and a real burgeoning part of the center here. How long have you been here at the center?
Almost a year.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay. When's your anniversary? Do you know?
Actually, we may have passed it. It was in February.
Okay.
Yep.
Excellent. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So I'm going to ask Claire to introduce herself a little bit here in just a moment. And then I want to talk about a special exhibit here at the center called Earth Stewards. And Claire's been the curator for that exhibit, and so I particularly wanted to get her involved and talk a little bit about what it represents. The other thing, today I will have pictures from the exhibit at the end of this episode instead of at the beginning, because that might give you a little more context for those pictures. So let's dive right in. Claire, tell me a little bit about you as an artist. What's your medium?
I'm a multidisciplinary artist. I have my bachelor's in fine arts from the Rocky Mountain College of Art and Design.
Ooh, okay. I was going to ask that, so good.
Yeah. I am mostly focused right now on earth pigments. So I forage my own materials from the earth and turn rocks into paint or into glazes, or use, raw canvas, raw linen in a lot of my work as well.
Oh, you said linen, so you got the fiber artist in me excited. Yeah. I always love when exhibits have some fiber in them, and that's one of the things I love about this. And of course, I sent one of my fiber artists up to see you, so yes. I'm grateful that it's there. All right, so a bachelor's in fine arts. You're not really a sculptor, essentially. It's broader than that.
It is broader than that, yeah. I jump around from medium to medium based on what ideas I'm interested in, and so I pick what medium I'm going to use based on how it would contribute to the content that I'm interested in creating.
And are you most interested in natural materials? Is that
Yes.
that a focus for you?
Yes. My content, a lot of it is around the human relationships to the environment.
Okay.
And so including the environment as my materials really pushes forward that idea even further than just talking about nature. It also includes nature in it.
Sure. And of course, nature is our greatest creative resource for art to begin with. So it's appropriate to not only use it as inspiration, but to use it.
Yes, there's a long history in the material as well. So I can pull on art history.
Talk about earth pigments a little bit more. What do you unpack that for me some?
Earth pigments, there's different ways you can source pigments from the environments. You can get them from plants, but that would be more of a dye or if you really concentrated down, you'll get inks from it. And that would be like walnuts or any kind of plant material, eco prints for fiber art.
Sure.
The earth pigments I use are mostly ochres. They're iron-based pigments found in rocks and soils, and you can find the whole color wheel you can find in ochre pigments. So
even blues and greens?
Yes, even blues and greens. There's a lot of, it's green earth is what the green pigment is called. That's often found in dry, rocky climates, especially like Wyoming or Utah has those pigments. Blues, there's a lot of blue ochre pigments up on the Pacific Northeast coast. It's called Vivianite. A beautiful blue clay, often found in the caves or along the riverbeds that the Salish indigenous people used.
I know a lot about the Salish. The Native American is part of my background in terms of literature and my studies there. Well, we may need another episode to get off into earth pigments, but I do want to get around to Earth Stewards here. That's the title of the exhibit. Talk a little bit about why that, why now kind of thing.
Yeah.
How did you come up with that?
I wanted to be very mindful about how I approached exhibiting an ecologically themed show. There's a lot of strong and sometimes controversial feelings around the topic.
Absolutely.
And I didn't want anyone to come away from the show feeling negativity. So it was important that I approached it in a way that was inviting to people. And stewardship can be defined as the careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care. So that was the direction, that was the question I was asking the artist in the application, which was, what is your relationship to the earth? And they all answer that in different and unique ways that I think really added to that conversation.
Yeah, I can see very much, now that you mention that, the whole idea of stewardship is very biblical. If you're Jewish or Christian or just about any of the world's religions would appreciate that kind of idea of stewardship. Do you, just kind of off the bat, remember how many submissions you got and how many you ended up accepting? You don't have to answer that if that becomes controversial.
We did have a number of people submit work. I don't remember the exact number, but we did accept about 20 artists into the show. So we had well over 40 submissions.
Excellent. I don't ask that so much, except just to kind of gauge what the interest is in a topic like that, because as you say, it can be controversial.
Yeah. Some
people might argue that there's nothing wrong with the way we're using the earth now, and others of us might not agree with that quite so much. I'm curious, what surprised you the most about the submissions?
There were themes that emerged. Everyone had their different perspective, but there were some commonalities in the submissions that I didn't really expect to find such strong groupings of. So food as a connection point or relationship to the earth, there were a lot of submissions centered around the idea of gathering or sourcing our food from the earth.
I know my friend Anita the tatter, her tatting piece is related to corn.
Yes, the corn harvest basket. Yeah.
Very cool.
And another theme was Mother Earth. That was another strong theme that many people responded to from slightly different angles. And so, I was happy to see people approach it in different directions.
I think big writ large themes like the earth and stewardship and stuff like that really do resonate with people in all different kinds of ways, but I agree with you that a lot of times they kind of group sort of spontaneously and it can be very unexpected. What kind of response have you gotten from the show so far? Have you heard much about it? You had a great grand opening.
Yeah, the opening was overwhelmingly positive. A lot of people expressed their enjoyment of the show, and we're very pleased to see the variety of mediums.
Right.
Some different artists that we haven't seen in Leesburg for a while, or maybe ever, that are from either Orlando or other central Florida areas.
That's always good.
Yeah.
What medium? What is the range of medium that you have there?
We have sculpture, both in like an installation found material, like mixed media sculpture, ceramic sculptures, photography, paintings at different mediums, printmaking, fiber arts. I think that's about it, but that's pretty wide. Pretty inclusive.
I did a video a few weeks back, and some of my viewers will remember this, where Margaret had her whole mural out on the table, and we walked along. You probably have never seen my videos, but you should go look.
I did see that
one. Did you see that one? So Margaret walked along and told us about the themes that she was using in that. She's a wonderful resource here. So anytime
and that piece is in the exhibition
anytime
too.
I can grab something, and you'll see it in the exhibit in pieces because it was taken apart. I don't know if she ever had it together. I can't remember when I saw it if it was actually together or not.
The way we found, the way we decided to display it was kind of in a big circle.
Right.
Because it talks
Right.
about the seasons and that cyclical pattern. So we have
Cool.
6 racks joined up with one of our moving exhibition walls to complete the 7 angles, 7 panels for her to display on. So
Do you have some art in the show?
I do.
Tell us about yours, because people will be looking at all the pictures here in just a minute.
Yeah, I have a tree sculpture piece, ceramics, that I modeled after the giant oak tree in Griffin State National Park, or Griffin State.
The 6th largest tree in the state, I believe it is.
Yes, it's estimated 400 or 500 years old.
Right.
And so while I was sculpting that piece, Richard took an interest and asked me about what I was doing, and I was very passionate about that project. And so after I created that sculpture, that's when he offered me this opportunity to have the show. So it was kind of the catalyst for this exhibition. And
Excellent.
I do have a few, I call them seasonal ceremonial vessels based off of the different seasons. And one of the large scale pieces broke in the kiln during its firing. So I repurposed that into another piece called What Is Left Behind.
Cool.
So.
Yeah, I did see that as well. You don't know this, but I'm fascinated with those old live oaks. The biggest one in Florida and the oldest one is just north of Gainesville. And it's on its own little park. So if you want a field trip someday, go up there and stop in Alachua City if you like cheeseburgers. Because there's a little drive-through place there that has the best cheeseburgers in the whole world. So if you want a day-long field trip, let me know. I'll tell you how to get up there. Actually, I'll send a reference to that. I'll put a reference to that on today's video. So if you want to go visit the largest and oldest live oak, I do digress sometimes, as you can tell, Claire, but that's all right. I think we always get back around to where we are. So what do you do here as associate director? What's your role here at the center? I know a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. I'm in charge of the programming. I'm in charge of volunteers, and I do teach some myself. So I'll be teaching a few of the kids' camps during summer camp. I'm also doing an Earth Pigments workshop in a couple weeks in May.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and then a lot of just administrative support and help for our director and our board.
And is it fun?
I enjoy it, yeah.
Good, good. I'm curious what little Claire did. Were you an artist when you were little Claire? Before school and all that sort of stuff?
Yes, I think I was always putting pencil to paper. So.
Really? Okay, so drawing and painting maybe to start with, and then...
Yeah, I was mostly self-taught until I went to college. I just can never not be creating. And I also always enjoyed playing in the dirt and rubbing rocks together. And it turns out that that's a big part of my process now as well with earth pigment. So.
Yeah. Now, you went specifically to an art school.
Yes.
So you already knew when you hit that stage that that's where you were headed. What's your connection with the Native American thing? Do you have much sense of that, or is it, you mentioned it's Salish, so I'm just curious.
Yeah, I do not have any indigenous heritage myself, but I have a great interest in their cultures and how they connect to the land and live with the land, and we're great stewards of the land, and the history of our displacement of these people, and kind of what we can do to rectify, you know, that negative part of our history.
At least to recognize it.
Yeah.
I'm like you. I don't have any Native heritage, but I spent much of my academic career studying Native American women writers. I actually have a book, which at the time was kind of the authority on the subject. But I'm always very conscious of being respectful and making sure to say that I am not Indian or Salish or Cherokee or whatever it may be myself. And so there is a certain respect. I really kind of get that in everything you say. Respect for the earth, respect for peoples, those kind of things. And I know I value that, and I hope that's something our viewers value a great deal as well. Well, I'm going to go back out with Claire and make sure I've gotten pictures of everything. And that's how we're going to end today, with pictures from this exhibit, Earth Stewards. Grand opening was last Friday, and it's on until May
17th.
May 17th. The Leesburg Center for the Arts is on Magnolia. What's your address?
429
West
Magnolia? West
No,
Magnolia?
you're West Magnolia.
West Magnolia.
And you're open every day except Sunday and...
Except Sunday and Monday.
Okay, good. All right. So, you know, if you are in the Central Florida area, you should come by and see Earth Stewards. Okay. Well, Claire, thank you for taking a little time. I popped in on her without much warning. As always, this is Gary Sly, and it's the Legacy of Handmade Objects. Thanks for viewing.